Well, happy Scorcher Tuesday to you. Boy, let me tell you, it is one hell of a scorcher out there today. But before we start, don't forget, hit that subscription button and also smash on that like. Thank you. Welcome to the new subscribers that have just subscribed recently on there. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. We here at CutiCast appreciate it. Tells us that you like our show. You want to see more of this. Please pass this on to friends and family. If you could pass this on to 10 more people, it helps us because unfortunately, YouTube is not helping getting this show out to everybody. So, let me tell you, there are some great shows. And yesterday we talked. We talked about The Expanse and how great of a show is. Now, in next month, August, which is around the corner, it's a couple days away, on the 16th of August, there's a series that's coming back. We haven't seen it since 2017. It's on the Netflix streaming site, and it is a fantastic show. It's based on a 1995 book. The series is called Mindhunter. If you haven't seen this, binge it now. I'm telling you, this is a fantastic show. I'm about to re-binge this so I can catch back up again. Remember, because this show hasn't been back since 2017. It took a while for them to get back into production, but it is very well done. Like I said, it's based on the book Mindhunters Inside the FBI's Elite Serial Crime Unit, and it was written by John Douglas and Mark Altshaker. Now, the series is based on itself. It's in a time period where basically, to coin the phrase serial killer has not even been invented yet. It gets invented in this series. Because at that time period, no one didn't understand the mind of a serial killer. I mean, they didn't heard that terminology used. And the basic storyline itself is about two agents and a psychiatrist who are investigating serial killers who have already been arrested and interviewing them to help them with new cases that are starting to crop up. The series itself stars Jonathan Groff, Hoth McClelney, Stacy Roca, Hannah Gross, Aina Talvi, and let me tell you something, there is one other actor in here, Cameron Britton. Now listen to that name, especially those of you who are just starting season 1. If you not familiar with the serial killer's name, Ed Kemper, Google it, YouTube it. There's some original footage of his interviews in jail. Let me tell you, this is the most nicest, scariest guy you will ever see. And the translation into the TV series is spot on. Cameron Britton does a great Ed Kemper. Because Ed Kemper, I believe he supposedly decapitated his mother, killed a bunch of cheerleaders, and did some things that just like really, ugh. But when you see his character portrayed in the series, I mean, the guy's like, "Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Welcome." He's like a real, and that was Ed Kemper. I mean, the guy, it was a total psychopath, but you wouldn't believe it if you spoke to him. And watch, when you watch it, watch for this guy. But he is not the only serial killer in the series. I mean, they go through a couple other serial killers. There is mention, and this season, we're going to get to see it. Last season we were mentioning because it was just it was his arrest. Charlie Manson will be in this season, and supposedly Son of Sam as well. And it's supposed to jump all the way. Supposedly the word is I think they're going to end up to the end because this takes place in the 70s. So it's going to be basically they are going to be going into the 80s with this season because there is one case that comes to thought when you look at this, and that is the Atlanta child murders, is supposedly in this season as well. and that takes us to about 79 to 80 on that. So we expect to see that. But also, I guess they're going to continue on with, because in the first season, there was a guy who was doing some murders, and we didn't realize what it was and what the beginnings was. But then when we feel like toward the end of the season, it was Dennis Rader, the BTK killer. I'm not giving anything away, but this is something that you have to understand on how this series works. You're going to be seeing a lot of terminology used, a lot of serial killers' names used, a lot of interviews. When you see the interview that is done with these killers, it's pretty much, especially like the Ed Kemper. The Ed Kemper one, it's like the shot for shot done in the exact interviews that you see on YouTube now from the original Planted interviews. And the entire cast is fantastic on how this is done. I mean, you have a time period where the FBI doesn't even want to play with this. I mean, they're treating killers as, murders as just as a separate thing. They're not realizing that basically at this point there are basis to why each of these people are murdering. And as we get further into the season 1, the FBI is starting to realize that basically, we need this kind of knowledge to go forward, because there are others just like the ones they already have in jail. I mean, there are some great scenes in this series, some great nods to serial killers. I mean, like I said, they do mention Son of Sam Charlie Manson in the first one. There's a couple other names that are thrown in there, and this season we're gonna get Son of Sam. And let me tell you, I grew up in New York in the 70s during the Son of Sam era, and that frightened a lot of people, and a lot of women were changing their hair color because they were fitting the profile that Son of Sam was going out to kill. I know a lot of people that I grew up with, they changed their hair color. The women changed their hair color because of that. And it kind of got scary in New York at that point, because we didn't know where this guy was going to hit again. When you look at it today with all the killers and serial killers, when you see it today and you look at it back then, we couldn't understand what they were. We weren't coining serial killer as we do today, and how the FBI and most of the police forces do to investigate these. Now, the series comes from the visionary David Fincher and Charlize Theron, the executive producers of the series. I'm glad that Netflix is bringing this for a season 2. It's been a long time. I mean, we're in 2019. This series was in 2017. And in fact, this season, Fincher himself will be doing an episode or 2. And I'm told that Andrew Dominic, who did The Assassination of Jesse James, he'll be doing an episode. Carl Franklin, who directed Devil in the Blue Dress, will be doing an episode. And like I tell you, this is well done. The time and the thing is, the sets and everything, the time period, the cars, everything falls into place. Because like I said, this is in the 70s period. So there's a lot of things going on in this time period. And, there were a lot of murders, that were going on that people didn't understand what was going on. And just basically when you started to hear what it was, it started to frighten people. And if it wasn't that they took place to investigate why some of these people do what they do, and start to analyze, some of these murderers, and why they do these things, and how do they feel, and the Ed Kemper one is just frightening alone. I mean, like I said, the guy acts like a nice guy, but when you hear his story done in detail the way they do it in this TV series, it's frightening. So I'm glad this is back. Comment below. Tell me, have you seen this series? Did you like it? Are you glad it's back? if you haven't seen this, are you going to go binge it? Because let me tell you, right now, like I said, I'm doing the Expanse back now again. Mindhunters, I'll probably binge in another week or two, just to refresh myself on the season, and for them to have, Son of Sam, Charlie Manson, the Atlanta child murderer, the Atlanta child murders done in this season. I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, just to see what the police and the FBI were doing to stop these murders, and how they started to investigate, and what they were doing to investigate these horrific killings. So don't forget, we're also on mindsandgab.com. You can subscribe there as well. Thank you. We're also on BitChute. You can subscribe there as well. We got one more tonight. Yeah, it's a little warm today. I think it's about to rain, because when we're taping this, it got a little dark. Hopefully the temperature will come down a bit, but we expect a couple of days of this heat, and it's like, it's going to be rough. So stay hydrated. I have my little bottle of water here. Got some Halls. Going to sit back, relax, take it easy. We'll be back later tonight when you see this. So hang in there. Subscribe, like, support, share. We'll see you on the tail end.